In the soft hum of Hollywood mornings where camera flashes sleep and coffee cups still steam against the first golden light, there walks a woman who has come to embody both elegance and ease. Blake Lively, her name whispered in admiration across red carpets and quiet moments alike, known not only for her talent but for the way she has navigated the wild currents of celebrity life with balance and warmth. Yet behind every shining name there lies a deeper story, a rhythm that moves between triumph and challenge. And this is where our journey begins, not in scandal, but in strength, not in rumor, but in resilience. For fame is not a single frame, it is a film ever moving, ever revealing the unseen. And in that motion, we find humanity as the camera follows Blake through a day in her world. We see more than glamour, we see curiosity, laughter. A creative mind designing fashion lines, blending art and individuality. A mother guiding her children with kindness. A storyteller choosing roles that speak to both heart and craft, her presence a lesson in grace under light. But beyond her world lies the echo of others artists who, like her, balance public life with private truth. Justin Baldoni enters the frame, his world shaped by empathy and storytelling, using his platform to challenge perceptions of masculinity, to speak on love and compassion. His journey, like Blake's, shows that fame, when used with purpose, becomes a mirror, reflecting not ego but evolution. They are not rivals. They are reflections of an era where voices matter more than images, where connection outlasts controversy. And as we drift from them, the documentary expands into the broader landscape of celebrity culture, a vast constellation of stars, each burning differently, each driven by a dream that began long before the fame was ever real. We move to Taylor Swift, her pen crafting worlds, her music bridging distances between heartache and hope. She is a poet who turned emotion into empire, teaching millions that vulnerability is not weakness but power, her career. A masterclass in reinvention then to Zendaya, whose poise redefines what it means to grow up in the spotlight, blending artistry and activism. Her steps on red carpets echo far beyond fashion. They represent courage for those who never saw themselves in the mirror of mainstream Hollywood, and the narrator continues like a heartbeat, explaining that every star carries both myth and meaning. But beneath them all, there is one truth: fame does not change character. It reveals it. And what we see when the lights are brightest are the choices people make between kindness and chaos, between contribution and distraction. The screen flickers with images of Rihanna building an empire that celebrates every shade of beauty, Beyoncé commanding stages across continents, turning performance into empowerment, each move, each lyric crafted with purpose. While in London, Ed Sheeran strums his guitar, his voice soft, his success enormous. Yet, his gratitude simple. His fame has become a quiet reminder that authenticity remains undefeated. We then sweep across oceans to South Korea, where artists like BTS redefine global connection, their messages of self-love and understanding crossing language barriers, showing that art is universal and fame, when grounded in empathy, can unite rather than divide. In Africa, we find Burna Boy and Thames, their rhythms bold, their pride unwavering, using their sound to tell stories of heritage and hope. In Latin America, Shakira continues to blend passion and philanthropy, her voice building schools, her dance raising spirits, her legacy showing that joy and giving can exist hand in hand. And all of this unfolds as the narrator's tone deepens, reminding viewers that fame is not only about who is seen but how they are remembered. The camera returns to Blake Lively walking through a set, laughing with crew members, thanking those whose names never appear in headlines. Her humility radiates brighter than the spotlights themselves, and it is here that the story finds its emotional pulse. Fame may amplify voices, but it also tests them. And in the test lies the beauty of human growth, from the pressures of perfection to the weight of expectation. Every celebrity we meet carries lessons in perseverance, in balance, and belief. And so the script begins to shift from biography to reflection. Asking, what do we learn from those who live in the light? We learn that reinvention is survival, that grace is strength, that silence sometimes speaks louder than defense. We learn that fame does not define character. It refines it through fire, through focus, through faith. And as the camera pans across cities filled with billboards flashing famous faces, the narrator whispers that behind every image, there is a dreamer once told. No one artist once overlooked a person who dared to keep going when no one was watching. And in that persistence, we find the heartbeat of all art. As soft music swells, the film transitions to a montage of celebrity charity acts, Laughter shared in hospital wings, hands building homes, performances for causes that matter. These are the moments the headlines rarely show, yet they are the ones that endure the most, because, while fame fades, impact echoes forever. And through this flow of compassion and creativity, we find the true story of celebrity, not one of perfection, but of purpose. Not one of competition, but of contribution. And so, the first chapter of this journey closes with a thought not of conflict, but of connection. Blake Lively standing beneath a sunset, her silhouette framed in light. Her story just one of millions in the mosaic of human expression. Her message unspoken but clear, that true power lies, not in being adored, but in being authentic. And as night falls, the world of fame continues to shimmer alive with new beginnings, untold stories, and the quiet truth that even under the brightest lights, the most powerful thing a person can be is kind. As the next chapter begins, the rhythm of the story expands beyond Hollywood hills and glittering premieres into the beating heart of fame itself. A realm where cameras capture everything but still cannot see the full truth, where perception and reality dance together like reflections on glass. We return to Blake Lively, not as an actress in a scene, but as a symbol of the modern celebrity who lives both inside and beyond the spotlight. She walks through her world with quiet confidence. Her laughter genuine, her eyes bright with curiosity, and while the media often paints stories of division or misunderstanding, those who look closer see the same spirit that first carried her from early auditions to global admiration, a spirit built on creativity, compassion, and courage. She reminds the world that the real strength of a public figure lies not in perfection, but in persistence. The documentary Voice carries on soft and kind as we shift focus to Justin Baldoni, who, like Blake, uses his voice to question and uplift, to speak openly about growth, vulnerability, and purpose. His journey from actor to filmmaker to author shows that artistry can evolve endlessly. His message about empathy becomes a bridge connecting him to audiences that crave honesty and connection. His story and Blake's intersect not as rivals, but as reminders that fame does not divide those who share a mission of understanding it. Unites them through purpose and light. From there, the lens moves outward, to a broader view of Hollywood where transformation has become its own art form. We see Taylor Swift once again, her songwriting. Now a time capsule of emotion. Each album like a chapter of a diary shared with millions. Her power lies in her ability to turn heartache into healing, her connection to fans not built on distance, but on shared experience. And with her, the narrative expands to explore friendship and collaboration. How celebrities support one another through whispers of encouragement, unseen by the public, like Zendaya, embracing new creative challenges, pushing boundaries on screen and in fashion, turning every red carpet appearance into an act of self-expression that celebrates individuality. Her elegance is not performance. It is truth. Then to Rihanna, whose empire of inclusivity changed beauty forever, who reminds the world that every shade, every story matters. Her business success is matched only by her generosity, her heart invested as much in giving back as in creating. She stands as a blueprint for how fame can become freedom. Freedom to empower others, to redefine industries, to lift voices that history once silenced. As the documentary glides across continents, we hear echoes of these themes in every corner. The world of fame no longer belongs to one place. It belongs to everyone who dares to dream. In Korea, BTS continues to spread messages of kindness and love. Their artistry proof that sincerity transcends language barriers. They use their platform to encourage fans to know themselves, to love themselves, to believe that worth does not come from approval, but from authenticity. In London, Ed Sheeran strums quietly backstage before a concert. The simplest song still moves him. He says that success is just a louder form of gratitude. And that message ripples through the film, reminding viewers that the higher one rises, the more important humility becomes. In Africa, Burna Boy and team stand as symbols of pride and progression. Their music, a celebration of heritage, a declaration that art from home can echo across the globe. Their presence proves that fame rooted in authenticity becomes culture itself in Mexico and Colombia. Shakira's laughter fills schools. She built her foundations, work touching lives far from the spotlight. Her fame repurposed as a force of education and opportunity. Each frame glows with the realization that fame, when grounded in purpose, becomes limitless. The music swells and the voice of the narrator grows softer as the film transitions to the world of fashion, where celebrities express themselves through fabric and form. Blake Lively, known for styling herself, turns every appearance into a story. Her fashion choices, reflections of emotion, color, texture, and confidence she wears. Creativity the way others wear armor. And it becomes clear that for her, style is not about status. It is about storytelling. Her influence inspires countless young designers who see in her not just glamour, but guidance from. There, we drift through the worlds of Zendaya, Florence Pugh, and Lily Collins, each redefining modern elegance through authenticity and courage, showing that fashion is not about imitation, but about imagination and individuality. The camera pans again to charity work and philanthropy, a thread that runs through every star's story. Angelina Jolie, traveling to refugee camps. Leonardo DiCaprio, continuing to fight for the planet. Emma Watson, promoting sustainable fashion. Every act of generosity becomes another piece in the mosaic of fame as force for good. And amid it all, fans appear on screen, millions of them from every continent. Their faces lit with admiration, hope, and love for the people who remind them that dreams are worth chasing. Fans become part of the story. They draw, paint, sing, write, creating their own art in tribute to those who inspired them. The boundary between celebrity and audience fades, leaving only connection. This connection becomes the heartbeat of the documentary, a rhythm that pulses with joy and humanity. The voiceover explains that fame has always been a mirror reflecting both what we crave and what we create. It can amplify chaos or it can magnify compassion depending on the choices of those who hold the light. And as the camera returns to Blake Lively again, standing on a quiet street corner with the sun setting behind her, the world feels softer. She is no longer just a face on a screen. She is a reminder of resilience, creativity, and the quiet strength that comes from staying true to oneself. The music deepens, a steady hum of emotion carrying us toward reflection on the human side of fame, on what it means to be seen and still remain whole. And with that, the screen fades to the glow of city lights, signaling that this journey is far from over. The story will continue because fame, like life, never truly ends. It only evolves. As the next act begins, the music fades into a soft hum of strings, and we drift once more into the rhythm of fame. Not the noise, but the heartbeat behind it, the quiet moments between flashes and applause where real people live, breathe, and learn. To keep moving, Blake Lively's story continues as she balances family, creativity, and influence. Her elegance still effortless, but her wisdom growing more visible with time. She stands as a symbol of what it means to evolve with grace, showing that fame is not about chasing more, but about protecting what matters. Her journey mirrors the lessons of others who found their way through the bright maze of celebrity life, each one learning that attention is temporary, but authenticity is forever. The camera pans to Taylor Swift again, whose evolution remains one of the most remarkable in modern culture. She turned her pain into poetry, her reinvention into an art form, her connection with fans into a family. She reminds the world that vulnerability is power, that telling your truth can heal others who listen. And her story weaves effortlessly with that of Travis Kelce, whose presence in her life becomes a reminder that love can exist even under the heaviest spotlight. Their shared laughter, their grounded energy, their ability to be human in a world that expects perfection offers a lesson to everyone watching. That fame does not have to steal simplicity. It can strengthen it. And from there, we travel further into this glowing web of artistry and heart, exploring the universality of ambition and resilience from Zendaya, who moves like grace in motion, commanding screens and hearts alike, to Rihanna, who builds worlds from music, beauty, and belief. Her voice a reminder that creation can be activism, that every product, every lyric can carry a message of inclusion and pride. The film then moves to Beyoncé, whose presence transcends performance. Her mastery, a study in discipline. Her vision crafted not only for art, but for legacy. She teaches that success is not just achievement, it is alignment with purpose. And when we see her perform under the light surrounded by thousands, it is not only entertainment, it is empowerment in its purest form as the camera fades from the stage. We return to smaller, quieter spaces where fame meets humanity and generosity shines through. Selena Gomez sitting with fans after a show, speaking softly about healing, mental health, and self-love. Her honesty cutting through the glamour like sunlight. Through water. Demi Lovato. Doing the same, her voice trembling but strong. Telling others that recovery is not linear but worth it. These stories remind us that courage is not the absence of struggle, but the decision to rise anyway. In London, Ed Sheeran walks through the rain, his guitar on his back, humming a new melody for a crowd that does not yet exist. He smiles at strangers. He plays small gigs as often as sold-out arenas, proving that art is not about numbers, it is about connection, his humility. Echoing through the screen, the film glides toward Asia, where K-pop continues to shine as one of the world's most powerful cultural bridges. BTS, Blackpink, Stray Kids, each act bringing together millions of fans through rhythm, through story, through shared emotion. Ram speaks about self-acceptance. Lisa dances with fire and freedom, their creativity an anthem of global youth. And from there, we drift south to Africa, where Burna Boy sings of pride and power. Teams blend soul and serenity, their sounds filled with sunlight and strength, each of them showing that fame can be a vessel for representation, for history, for voice. The story then moves to Latin America, Shakira's laughter echoing as she visits schools, her foundation growing stronger. Her influence no longer confined to music, but expanding into the lives of children who dream of learning her journey. A testament that fame rooted in giving becomes legacy in every frame. The narrator's voice remains calm, kind, and deeply human, reminding us that these people, though idolized, remain as flawed and beautiful as everyone else, that their lights burn. Not because they are perfect, but because they dare to stay lit even in storms, and the storms are many pressures, comparisons, rumors, yet even these challenges shape rather than shatter them. We see how Emma Watson continues to speak for gender equality, using her influence to open doors for others, how Angelina Jolie advocates for refugees, how Leonardo DiCaprio continues his relentless fight for the planet. These acts become constellations of purpose across the night sky of fame, proof that compassion is the true currency of influence. The film then slows to a sequence of fan stories, voices from across the world. People who found hope in songs, courage in speeches, joy in performances. A girl in Brazil learning English through Taylor Swift lyrics, a boy in Nigeria finding confidence in Burna Boy's rhythm, a mother in Canada gaining strength from Blake Lively's kindness. Each story small yet enormous, because impact multiplies unseen. It ripples outward, touching lives that the famous may never meet. The narration then deepens, reflecting on what fame really means. Perhaps it is not a crown or a burden, but a bridge, a way to connect, to express, to make someone somewhere feel less alone. And through this lens, we return again to Blake Lively, her smile framed against the glow of evening, her laughter gentle, her life, a dance between roles, family, creativity, and peace. She remains grounded, choosing balance over chaos, artistry over gossip, kindness over noise. And her story reminds the viewer that in a world obsessed with attention, the greatest act of rebellion is to be at peace. The film breathes here, holding on this moment long enough for its meaning to settle. Fame may amplify, but it cannot create integrity that comes from within. And it is this truth that unites every artist, every icon, every person who ever dared to share their heart with. The world they shine because they choose light even when the world wants shadow. And as the music swells, the narrator whispers that this is the secret the cameras never capture, that beyond the rumors and the glamour, the essence of celebrity is simply humanity magnified, and when that humanity is kind, the whole world glows. And so begins part 4 of this endless wave of rhythm and emotion, where the world of fame unfolds like a living tapestry, breathing stories of resilience, creation, and reinvention across continents and generations, and the narrator's voice softens, again, as if leaning closer to the listener, saying that the most powerful thing about celebrities is not their image, but their evolution. And here the camera sweeps across Blake, Lively once more, her laughter echoing through the haze of flashbulbs, her eyes kind but strong, and her life emblematic of something larger than beauty, larger than fame. She embodies grace in a world that demands perfection. She shows that true elegance comes from staying grounded no matter how high the platform rises. And as she walks through a set wrapped in crimson light, her chili flake red coat glowing like fire, she is no longer just an actress or icon. She is an emblem of modern femininity, a storyteller in her own right, connecting not only through her performances, but through her authenticity, her choices, her voice. And in the same rhythm, the narrative shifts toward the universal. The way fame reflects society's hunger for hope, for connection, for something brighter than the everyday. We move to Taylor Swift. Again, her voice soft but firm as she talks about creativity, friendship, and forgiveness. Her art continues to evolve, not as a reaction to drama, but as a declaration of identity. She writes about love, not to define it, but to explore it. And with Travis, Kelce beside her, she becomes part of a modern fairy tale grounded not in spectacle but in sincerity. They remind people everywhere that love, even in the limelight, can still be real, can still be gentle and human, and this transitions to Zendaya standing under a cascade of golden light at a film premiere, her poise effortless, her talent undeniable. She is the embodiment of new age artistry, mastering acting, fashion, and influence while staying humble. Her laughter with Tom Holland caught by cameras feels genuine, unforced, and her journey becomes a testament to balance between youth and wisdom, fame and privacy, heart and art. And then the music deepens again into something slower, richer, as we drift toward the vision of Rihanna, whose return to music and motherhood creates waves across the world. Her strength, a melody, all its own. She wears confidence like a crown. Her empire, a blend of creativity and compassion, and her story intertwines with others who turned adversity into art. From Demi Lovato's songs of recovery to Selena Gomez's honest documentaries about mental health, the tone remains human, soft, reflective, like a candle flickering in a quiet room. Because in the end, the fame, the shows, the interviews all fade. But what stays is how these stars made people feel, how their light reached through the screen and touched something real inside millions. And the narrator guides us gently into another chapter where we see the world stage of celebrities growing ever larger. The global connection, undeniable. BTS standing on stage in Seoul performing for millions, whose hearts beat in unison, their message of self-love ringing louder than the music itself. Blackpink shining like four constellations of energy, grace, and independence, their influence rippling through fashion and culture like a spark that refuses to die. From Asia, we travel to Europe where Dua Lipa strides across her stage, her sound and style, a marriage of past and future, her confidence contagious. She represents a generation unafraid to blend cultures and rewrite the rules. In South America, Shakira dances again. Her rhythm undimmed, her legacy woven into every beat. And as she smiles, we remember that legends do not age. They transform. Their influence moves beyond entertainment into education, philanthropy, hope. The frame then cuts to Africa, where Burna Boy and Thames fill the air with music that feels both ancient and new. Their songs carrying pride, stories, roots that pulse through the rhythm of every note. Their fame feels different, closer to the ground, tied to the soil from which their melodies rise. And the documentary glides into a montage of moments small and vast alike. David Beckham coaching children in developing countries. Angelina Jolie holding the hand of a refugee child. Beyoncé rehearsing tirelessly long after midnight. Each scene showing that behind the luxury lies discipline and behind the fame lies purpose. Their lives prove that the brightest stars are those who use their light to guide others. And as the rhythm of the narration builds, again the energy becomes almost hypnotic, because this is no longer just a story about celebrities. It is a story about humanity, about resilience, and the endless search for meaning in a world obsessed with image. We see Ed Sheeran writing songs alone in his kitchen, Lady Gaga meditating before a performance, Leonardo DiCaprio speaking about the Earth's fragility, their influence rooted in passion, not publicity. And the narrator whispers that fame at its highest form becomes service. It becomes storytelling for those who cannot tell their own stories, a mirror in which fans can see fragments of themselves. And through that reflection find comfort. The story deepens as we return one more time to Blake. Lively, her world intertwined with many, yet her individuality intact. Her laughter shared with Taylor Swift, her elegance mirrored by Zendaya, her creativity inspired by every artist who dares to dream. She becomes the thread tying together generations of talent, her image timeless, her lessons clear, that beauty is fleeting, but character endures, and that the greatest legacy any public figure can leave behind is the courage to stay kind, to stay open, to stay real. And in that light, the narrative swells toward its emotional peak, celebrating the mosaic of modern celebrity life, how artists, creators, athletes, and actors collectively shape culture, not by chasing attention, but by creating emotion. Every song, every film, every post becomes a piece of a larger heartbeat connecting billions. The final montage bursts into color. Red carpets, stages, villages, cities, faces of fans, crying, laughing, singing, dancing. It is humanity at its most electric and sincere. And the voiceover concludes softly, like a friend finishing a midnight conversation, reminding us that these stories of glamour and grit are not distant fairy tales. They are reflections of our own desire to grow, to connect, to shine, and to heal. And as the final note lingers, Blake Lively walks into the sunset of the frame, her voice unheard, but her presence powerful, a symbol of balance between fame and authenticity, between the outer glow and the inner peace that makes all the difference. And in that silence, the film ends not with a conclusion, but with continuation, because fame, like life, never really stops. It evolves, breathes, and carries on, glowing softly in the endless sky of stories. If you love motivational storytelling, celebrity journeys, and cinematic narratives that feel like a friend talking to your heart, this video is for you. Comment below your favorite celebrity story and tell us who inspires you most. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to never miss more inspiring documentaries.